The big meeting room was full of strange sounds. Clicking noises came from one corner, bubbling sounds came from another. Some aliens made musical notes that hurt human ears. The Galactic Council was having another important meeting, and today was different. Today, the humans had a big problem to solve. Ambassador Li Dongwu sat at the human table. His hands were folded on the smooth metal surface. He wore a calm smile on his face. It was the same smile he always wore during these meetings. The other aliens had seen this smile many times over the past 2 years. They thought it meant humans were weak and friendly. Behind Li, Captain Park, Jiho stood like a statue. His uniform was clean and pressed. His face showed nothing, but his eyes watched everything. He saw how the Vorthok Empire delegates moved. He saw how they clicked their sharp teeth together when they were happy. He saw how they looked at the humans like hungry predators. On Li's right side, Kim Na-young typed quietly on her small computer. Numbers and words flowed across the screen too fast for alien eyes to follow. She was the intelligence officer. Her job was to know everything about everyone in the room. She had been doing this job very well for 2 years. The Vorthok, Grixtel stood up. He was huge, almost 3 meters tall. His body looked like a giant black bug with arms and legs. Sharp spikes covered his back. His head had big eyes and cutting teeth that could bite through metal. When he moved, his heavy feet made the floor shake. Small humans, Grixtel said. His voice sounded like rocks grinding together. Today we talk about your future in our galaxy. The other aliens leaned forward to listen. The Nebulans floated in their glass boxes, their gas bodies swirling with interest. The Zephyrites sat still, their crystal bodies making soft ringing sounds. The Tidal Lords moved slowly in their water tanks, their tentacles waving back and forth. Li's smile never changed. We are always happy to talk with our friends in the council, he said. His voice was warm and polite. Grixtel's teeth clicked together fast. This was how Vorthok laughed. Friends. Yes, we can be friends, but friends help each other. Friends share things. Of course, Li said. Humans believe in helping friends. Good, Grixtel said. He pressed a button on his control device. A big blue screen appeared in the air above the meeting table. It showed a map of human space. 3 planets were marked with red circles. These 3 worlds, Grixtel pointed with one sharp claw. They are in space that belongs to the Vorthok Empire. We have been generous. We let humans live there for 2 years. But now we need payment. The human planets on the screen looked small and far away, but Li knew they were home to millions of people. New Seoul had 5 million humans. New Busan had 3 million. New Daegu had 2 million. All of them were families who had left Earth to build new lives among the stars. Payment? Li asked. His voice stayed calm and friendly. Yes. These worlds will become Vorthok colonies. The humans living there will work for us. They will grow food for Vorthok warriors. They will mine metals for Vorthok ships. This is fair payment for letting humans join the council. The other aliens made their agreement sounds. The Nebulans swirled faster in their boxers. The Zephyrites rang like small bells. The Tidal Lords slapped their tentacles against their tank walls. Captain Park's hands moved slightly. It was so small that only trained eyes could see it. But Kim Na-young saw it. She touched her computer screen 3 times. A message went out to human ships scattered across the galaxy. The message was very short. Status report requested. That is, ... a very big request, Li said. He was still smiling, but he took a moment to think. 10 million human lives is not a small thing to discuss. Not discuss, Grixtel said. His voice got louder. Decide. You have no choice. Humans have no big ships. Humans have no strong weapons. Humans have no way to fight the Vorthok Empire. You will agree, or we will take the planets anyway. A Nebulan delegate floated closer to the speaking area. His gas body turned from blue to green. The Vorthok War Prime speaks truth. Humans are new to space. Humans are weak. This is the way things work in the galaxy. Strong species take what they need. Weak species give what they must. More agreement sounds filled the room. Even the peaceful-looking Tidal Lords seemed to support the Vorthok demand. In the galaxy, power was the only thing that mattered. The strong took from the weak. That was the rule. Li looked around the room, at all the alien faces watching him. Some looked hungry, some looked bored. None looked like they cared about human lives. I understand the War Prime's position, Li said slowly. But surely we can find a solution that helps everyone. Perhaps we could discuss trade agreements, mining rights, cultural exchanges. Grixtel's laugh was like breaking glass. Trade, you have nothing we want except the planets. Mining rights, the planets will be ours. Cultural exchange, we do not care about human culture. Kim Na-young's computer made a very quiet beep, only she could hear it. She looked at the screen, and her eyes got slightly wider. Then she leaned forward and whispered something in Li's ear. Li listened to her whisper. His smile got a little tighter, but it stayed on his face. I see, he said quietly. What does your little human say? Grixtel asked. Does she tell you to surrender now? She tells me many things, Li said. But right now, she tells me that we might need to think about this more carefully. Think. Grixtel stepped closer to the human table. His sharp feet clicked on the metal floor. There is nothing to think about. You are weak. We are strong. You will do what we say. The War Prime pressed another button. The screen changed to show pictures of Vorthok warships. They were big and covered in weapons. They looked like flying weapons designed only to destroy things. 50 Vorthok battleships surround your 3 planets right now, Grixtel said. They wait for my command. If you say no, they will attack. Your people will die. Your cities will burn. Then we will take the planets anyway. Lee looked at the pictures of the warships. They were indeed very big and very dangerous. Any one of them could destroy a human city in minutes. Those are impressive ships, Lee said. Very well built. Very powerful. Yes, now you understand. Surrender the planets, and your people live as our workers. Fight us, and your people die. Choose now. The room became very quiet. All the aliens waited to see what the humans would do. They expected Lee to look scared. They expected him to beg for mercy. They expected humans to act like every other weak species in the galaxy. Instead, Lee stood up slowly. He straightened his jacket and looked directly at Grixtel War Prime. I think there might be some things we need to discuss in private, Lee said. Could we have a brief break? Say 30 minutes. Grixtel's eyes narrowed. What is there to discuss? The choice is simple. Even simple choices deserve careful thought, Lee replied. His smile was still there, but something about it had changed. 30 minutes. Then we will give you our answer. The War Prime looked confused. This was not how weak species usually acted, but he nodded. 30 minutes, then you surrender, or your people die. As the aliens left for the break, Captain Park moved closer to Lee. Sir? He asked quietly. Lee's diplomatic smile finally faded. For the first time in 2 years, his real face showed. It was not the face of a weak, friendly human. It was something else entirely. Contact Admiral Beak, Lee said quietly. Tell her the games are over. It's time to show them who they're really dealing with. Kim Na-young was already typing on her computer. The messages she sent were not polite diplomatic notes. They were military orders, written in code that no alien had ever learned to read. The 30-minute break was about to change everything in the galaxy. The aliens just didn't know it yet. The human meeting room was very different from the main council chamber. The walls were thick metal with no windows. Special machines made sure no alien could listen to what humans said inside. The air felt heavy with secrets. Ambassador Ledongyi sat down hard in his chair. The polite smile was completely gone from his face now. Captain Park Ji-ho locked the door and turned on the privacy screens. Kim Na-young spread her computers across the table, the room filled with blue light from all the screens. How long do we keep pretending? Park asked. His voice was tight with anger. My ships have been hiding in dark space for 6 months. My crews are getting tired of playing games. Lee rubbed his face with both hands. The plan was to stay peaceful for 5 years. Learn about all the alien species. Make them trust us. Then slowly show them our real strength. The plan did not include them threatening to kill 10 million humans, Park said. His hand moved to touch the weapon at his side. Sir, I have 17 battle fleets hidden around Council space. Each fleet has enough firepower to destroy entire star systems, and they treat us like we are helpless children. Dr. Choi Munesio looked up from her computer screen. She was the team's expert on alien biology. For 2 years, she had been studying every species in the Council. She knew things about them that they did not know about themselves. Captain Park is right, she said. Look at this. She touched her screen and pictures appeared in the air above the table. The pictures showed the inside of a Vorthok body. Their exoskeletons look very strong, but they have weak points. 17 places where one good hit would kill them instantly. She touched the screen again. More pictures appeared. These showed the Vorthok homeworld. Their planet has an atmosphere that is mostly methane gas. If we released oxygen into their air, the whole planet would burn like a giant bomb. We know all their weak points, Kim Na-young added. She was typing very fast on 3 computers at the same time. Every species in the Council, the Nebulans can be frozen solid, with the right temperature change. The Zephyrites shatter if you hit them with the right sound frequency. The title? Lords die if you take them out of water for more than 20 minutes. Lee listened to his team talk about killing aliens like they were discussing the weather. This was the real human delegation, not the polite diplomats the aliens saw, but the military experts who had been planning for war since the day humans joined the Council. What about their fleets? Lee asked. Captain Park smiled for the first time that day. It was not a nice smile. Sir, we have been watching their military for 2 years. The Vorthok have the biggest ships, but they are slow and clumsy. Their weapons are powerful, but they take a long time to charge up. Our ships are smaller but much faster. We can hit them and move away before they can shoot back. Kimna's computer made a soft beeping sound. She looked at the screen, and her face went very pale. Sir, she said quietly, we have a problem. Everyone turned to look at her. The room became very quiet. I just got a message from our spy satellites around the Vorthok fleet, she continued. They attacked a human transport ship called the New Busan. It was carrying 300 families to the new Seoul colony. The silence in the room became heavier. Lee felt something cold move through his chest. Survivors? He asked. Kimna shook her head. No, sir. The ship was completely destroyed. Men, women, children, all dead. Captain Park stood up so fast that his chair fell over. They killed civilians. They killed families. Dr. Choi's hands were shaking as she looked at her screen. 300 people, just traveling to see their new home. Lee stood up slowly. His face was very calm, but his eyes had changed. They looked like ice now, cold and hard and dangerous. They want to see what happens when humans stop being polite? He said quietly. Kim, send a message to Admiral Baek Sujin. Tell her to activate Protocol 7. Kim Na-young's fingers stopped moving over her keyboard. Sir, Protocol 7 means I know what it means, Lee said. His voice was still quiet, but now it sounded like winter wind. It means we stop pretending to be weak. It means we show them what humans really are. Captain Park picked up his chair and sat down. What about the plan? What about staying peaceful for 5 years? The plan changed when they murdered 300 innocent people, Lee said. He walked to the big screen on the wall and touched it. Star maps appeared, showing all of Council space. How many of our ships are in position? All of them, Park answered. 17 full battle fleets. Each one has 50 ships. That's 850 warships total. And the aliens don't know about any of them. No, sir. Our stealth technology is much better than theirs. We have been watching them for 2 years, but they have never seen us. Lee nodded. Kim, what is the status of Operation Silent Watch? Kim Na-young typed rapidly. All our spy networks are in place. We have agents watching every major alien military base. We know the location of every important government building. We have detailed maps of every alien homeworld, and the revelation protocols. Ready, sir? We can shut down alien communications across the entire galaxy in less than 5 minutes. We can disable their planetary defense systems. We can even turn off the lights in their cities if you want. Dr. Choi looked up from her computer. Sir, I have completed the biological analysis of all Council species. If we need to use non-lethal methods to control them, I have several options. Sleeping gas that works on Vorthok biology. Sound frequencies that will paralyze Zephyrites. Electromagnetic pulses that will confuse nebula nervous systems. Lee walked back to the table and sat down. He looked at each of his team members. For 2 years, we have been the galaxy's favorite pet humans, he said. We said please and thank you. We brought gifts to meetings. We agreed to unfair trade deals. We let them think we were weak and harmless. He paused and looked at the star map. On the screen, they thought our politeness meant we were afraid to fight. They were wrong. Our politeness meant we were choosing not to fight. There is a very big difference. Captain Park leaned forward. What are your orders, sir? We go back to that meeting room, Lee said. We sit down at that table, and we show the Galactic Council what humans look like when we stop being polite. Kim Na-young was already sending coded messages to human ships hidden throughout the galaxy. The messages were short and simple. The mask comes off. Prepare for revelation. Dr. Choi packed up her computers full of alien biological data, information that could be used to heal alien diseases or to create weapons that would kill them in seconds. Captain Park checked his communication device. It connected him directly to Admiral Baek Sujin, the commander of all human military forces. In space, she had been waiting for this call for 6 months. There is one more thing, Lee said as they prepared to leave the room. When we walk back into that council chamber, we are not going as diplomats anymore. We are going as representatives of a species that has been planning for this moment since the day we left Earth. He stood up and straightened his jacket. When he turned around, his diplomatic smile was back on his face. But now his team knew what that smile really meant. It was not the smile of a weak, friendly human. It was the smile of a predator who had been pretending to be prey. Break was almost over. Time to show the galaxy what humans really were. The council meeting room was full of alien sounds again. The different species were talking among themselves, making their clicks and bubbles and musical notes. They were all waiting for the humans to come back and surrender. Warprime Grit, his sharp teeth clicked together in a happy rhythm. He was sure the humans would give up their planets. All weak species did the same thing when faced with Vorthok power. The door opened and the human delegation walked back in. But something was different. Ambassador Lee Dongwoo still had his polite smile, but his eyes had changed. Captain Park, Ji-ho walked differently, like a soldier going to battle. Kim Na-young carried her computers like weapons. Lee sat down at the human table. The room became quiet as all the aliens waited to hear the humans surrender. Warprime Grixtel, Lee said. His voice was still polite and calm. Thank you for giving us time to think about your generous offer. Grixtel's mandibles clicked faster. Good, you have decided to be smart. You will give us the 3 planets. Actually, Lee said, we have decided something else entirely. He nodded to Captain Park. Park touched his communication device. Admiral Baek, please show our friends what they have been missing. The big screen in the center of the room suddenly came to life. But instead of showing Vorthok ships, it showed something that made every alien in the room freeze with shock. Human warships. Hundreds of them. They were everywhere. Around the Vorthok homeworld. 50 massive human ships sat in perfect formation. Around the nebulan gas clouds, 30 more human vessels waited silently. Near the Zephyrite crystal worlds, human fleets blocked every escape route. The tidal Lord ocean planets were surrounded by ships the aliens had never seen before. What? Is this Grixtel's voice, cracked like breaking stone? This, Lee said calmly, is what humans look like when we stop pretending to be helpless. The screen showed more and more human ships. They were sleek and dangerous looking, like metal sharks swimming through space. Each ship was bigger than, each fleet had enough weapons to destroy entire planets. Impossible, gasped a Nebulan delegate. Its gas body swirled with panic colors. We have watched human space for 2 years. You have no big fleets, you have no warships. Kim Na-young stood up. You watched what we wanted you to watch, she said. Every human merchant ship that visited your worlds was actually a spy ship. Every human research station was actually a military base. Every human diplomat was actually gathering information about your weaknesses. She touched her computer, and the screen changed again. Now it showed detailed maps of every alien world. Military bases, government buildings, power plants, communication centers. Everything was marked and labeled. We know where you live, Kim continued. We know where you work. We know where you keep your most important things. We have been watching you and learning about you for 2 years. Dr. Choi Minesio stepped forward. In her hand was a small device that made several aliens step backward without knowing why. This is a quantum disruptor, she said matter-of-factly. It can shut down any technology that uses crystalline energy matrices. That includes about 90% of all council technology. She pressed a button on the device. Suddenly, half the lights in the meeting room went dark. Several alien communication devices stopped working. The Zephyrite delegates made panicked ringing sounds as their own bodies flickered. We have been studying your technology through our cultural exchange programs, Dr. Choi continued. We know exactly how everything works, and we know exactly how to make it stop working. The screen changed again, showing technical diagrams of alien ships and weapons. Every diagram had red marks showing weak points and failure locations. Nebulan gas ships can be solidified with controlled magnetic fields. Dr. Choi explained like she was teaching a class. Zephyrite crystal vessels shatter when hit with specific sound frequencies. Tidal Lord bioships shut down when exposed to targeted electromagnetic pulses. She looked directly at Warp from Grixtel, and Vorth have 17 critical structural failure points. A new hologram appeared in the room. It was a human in military uniform, standing on the bridge of a massive warship. Admiral Baek Soo-jin, commanding the Earth Defense Fleet, the hologram said. Ambassador Lee, all human fleets report ready status. We are in position around every major council world, awaiting your orders. Warprime Grixtel's whole body was shaking now. You are bluffing. Humans are peaceful. You would not dare attack us. Lee's polite smile grew wider, but now it looked like the smile of a hunting animal. Wouldn't we? He asked quietly. Tell me, Warprime, what do you know about human history? The council meeting room was so quiet that the only sounds were the scared breathing of different alien species. Warprime Grixtel stood frozen like a statue made of black chitin and fear. You see, Ambassador Lee continued, standing up from his chair, there seems to be a misunderstanding about what kind of species humanity really is. Dr. Yoon Taman, the human historian, had been quiet until now. He stepped forward and touched his own computer. The big screen filled with images that made several aliens close their eyes in horror. In our recorded history, Dr. Yoon said in a calm, teaching voice, humans have fought over 14,000 wars. We created weapons that could destroy entire planets before we ever left our home world. The screen showed pictures of human weapons, nuclear bombs that could turn cities into glass, chemical weapons that killed everything they touched, biological weapons that made diseases spread faster than fire. We are the only known species, Dr. Yoon continued, to weaponize our own star's radiation. We built bombs using the same energy that powers our sun. More pictures appeared, giant machines that could crack planets in half, self-building war robots that could fight battles for decades without human control, space stations covered in weapons that could kill everything on a world's surface. We created something called mutually assured destruction, Dr. Yoon explained. The idea was simple, build so many planet-killing weapons that no one would dare to fight us, because everyone would die. Warprime Grixtel's mandibles clicked weakly. But humans are peaceful. You help other species. You share technology. You bring gifts to council meetings. Yes, Lee said. We do all those things. But do you know why? The room waited for his answer. Because we choose to, Lee said simply. Every day, humanity chooses to be peaceful. Every day we choose to help instead of hurt. Every day we choose to build instead of destroy. Captain Park touched his communication device again. Admiral Baek, please show them the soul. The screen changed to show a single human warship. It was enormous, bigger than some space stations. Weapons covered every surface. Energy readings showed power levels that made the alien computers malfunction just trying to measure them. The Ed's soul, Captain Park said, our flagship, it carries enough antimatter to sterilize 3 planets. It has weapons that can punch holes through moons. It can destroy everything in a star system and then move on to the next one. He paused and looked around the room at all the terrified alien faces. And it is just one ship. We have 849 others, Kim Na-young added. When we said we were studying your species, We meant we were learning the most efficient ways to eliminate you. Did you think our research was just for science? She touched her computer, and new images appeared. Battle plans, attack strategies, detailed studies of how to destroy each alien species with minimum effort and maximum results. Vorthok exoskeletons can be shattered with kinetic penetration, fired at precisely the right angle. She read from her screen. Nebulon gas forms can be disrupted with electromagnetic pulse weapons. Zephyrite crystal bodies explode when exposed to ultrasonic frequencies. Tidal Lord bioforms shut down when their water is electrically charged. Warprime Grixtel made a sound like air leaking from a broken machine. Why? Why are you telling us this? Because you need to understand what you are dealing with, Lee answered. You thought we were weak because we were polite. You thought we were helpless because we preferred talking to fighting? You were wrong. Dr. Choi held up another device. This one was smaller but somehow looked more dangerous. This is a planetary atmospheric converter, she said. One device can change the air on an entire world. We could make your methane atmosphere into oxygen. Your planet would burn like a star for 3 days. We could freeze the Nebulon gas clouds, Kim added. Turn the Zephyrite crystal worlds into powder. Boil away the Tidal Lord oceans. But here's what makes humans truly dangerous, Lee said, walking closer to the alien delegates. We don't fight wars to prove we are strong. We don't fight wars for glory or honor. We fight wars to end them, permanently. The room was full of the smell of alien fear. Different species released different chemicals when they were scared, and the air filtration system could not keep up. When humans go to war, Lee continued, we do not stop until our enemies cannot fight anymore. We do not take prisoners if prisoners might fight again later. We do not leave enemies alive if those enemies might threaten our children. Admiral Beek's hologram spoke again. Ambassador, we have just detected the Vorthok fleet that destroyed the civilian transport. They are moving toward the New Sol colony. Do you want us to intercept them? Every alien in the room held their breath. Lee looked at Admiral Beek's hologram for a long moment. The entire council chamber waited to see what he would decide. Warprime Grixtel's clicking had stopped completely. Admiral Lee said finally, disable their weapons and engines. Do not destroy the ships. We want them to go home and tell everyone what they saw. Understood, sir. The screen showed the Vorthok fleet in space. 50 large warships moving toward the human colony. Then human ships appeared around them like ghosts. Becoming solid, the Vorthok ships tried to turn and run, but it was too late. Bright flashes of light came from the human ships. When the light faded, the Vorthok warships were floating dead in space. No power, no weapons, no engines. Completely helpless. Your fleet has been neutralized, Lee told Grixtel. They are alive, but they cannot move or fight. Our ships will tow them back to your space. Grixtel collapsed into his chair. His massive body shook like he was sick. Now, Lee said, turning back to face all the council delegates. Let me tell you why humans smile so much. Dr. Yoon touched his computer again. The screen filled with more images from human history. But these were different. These showed humans helping each other, building cities, creating art, exploring space. We smile because we remember what we used to be, Lee explained. For most of our history, humans were always fighting. We killed each other over land, over resources, over ideas, over the color of our skin. The images showed ancient human battles. Swords and spears, guns and cannons, tanks and airplanes. Thousands of years of humans killing humans. We almost destroyed ourselves many times, Dr. Yoon added. We built weapons that could end all life on our planet. We poisoned our air and water. We were very good at destroying things. But then, we learned something important, Lee said. We learned that being strong enough to destroy everything meant we could choose not to destroy anything. The screen showed humans working together, building spaceships, healing diseases, feeding hungry people. We learned that real strength is not about having the biggest weapons, Lee continued. Real strength is about choosing when to use those weapons. Kim Na-young looked at the alien delegates. For the past 2 years, you have seen us choose to be peaceful. You thought that meant we were weak. You were wrong. It meant we were being merciful. Captain Park stepped forward. Every human child learns about our violent history in school. We teach them about the wars we fought, the weapons we built, the people we killed. We teach them so. They will remember what happens when humans stop choosing to be peaceful. You see, Lee said, when humans discovered we were not alone in the galaxy, we had a choice to make. We could come here as conquerors, taking what we wanted by force. Or we could come here as friends, trying to build something better. He paused, and looked at each alien delegate. We chose to be friends. We chose to be polite. We chose to smile and say please and thank you. We chose to let you think we were harmless. Dr. Choi held up a datapad. But we also chose to be prepared, just in case our friendship was not returned. The screen showed more human fleets, not just the ones around council worlds, but others scattered throughout the galaxy. Hidden bases, secret shipyards, weapons factories that looked like peaceful research stations. We have been building and preparing for 2 years, Kim said. Not because we wanted to fight, but because we wanted to be ready if we had to fight. War Prime Grixtel finally found his voice. What? What do you want from us? Lee's smile returned. But now everyone in the room understood what it really meant. We want the same thing we have always wanted, he said. Peace, friendship, trade, cooperation. The same things we asked for when we first joined the council. But now you know the cost of refusing those things, Captain Park added. Admiral Beak's hologram spoke again. Ambassador, we are receiving surrender requests from 17 different alien fleets. They are asking for permission to return to their home worlds. Grant their requests, Lee said. Let them go home. Let them tell their leaders what they have seen today. He turned back to the council delegates. We do not want to rule the galaxy, he said. We do not want to destroy your worlds or enslave your people. We want to be part of the galactic community. But, Kim added, we want to be part of it as equals, not as victims. The room was still full of scared aliens, but now they were listening carefully to every word the humans said. The choice is yours, Lee told them. You can work with us as friends and partners, or you can try to fight us and learn why humans prefer diplomacy to war. War Prime Grixtel's voice was barely a whisper. The Vorthok Empire withdraws its claim on human worlds. Excellent, Lee said. His diplomatic smile was back, but now it carried a completely different meaning. And the matter of reparations for the murdered civilians. Full reparations will be paid immediately. Outstanding. I trust there will be no further misunderstandings about humanity's place in the council. All around the room, alien delegates signaled their agreement in clicking, bubbling, ringing, and splashing sounds. The council meeting continued, but everything had changed. The alien delegates who had been so confident before now listened carefully to every human suggestion. Trade agreements that had been stalled for months were suddenly approved in minutes. Ambassador Lee sat back in his chair with his familiar diplomatic smile. But now every alien in the room knew what that smile really meant. It was not the expression of a weak species hoping for mercy. It was the expression of apex predators who had chosen to be civilized. Captain Park touched his communication device. All fleets, return to stealth positions but maintain current locations. On the screen, the 850 human warships vanished from sensors as quickly as they had appeared. But now everyone knew they were still there, watching and waiting in the darkness between stars. Now then, Lee said pleasantly, I believe there were some concerns about human expansion rates that we need to discuss. A Nebulan delegate's gas body swirled nervously. The Nebulan Collective believes that human expansion rates are perfectly reasonable. How generous of you, Lee replied. And the trade route licenses we requested. Approved, said a Zephyrite delegate, her crystal body ringing with nervous energy. All human trade route requests are approved. Wonderful. And the mining rights in the outer spiral. Granted, whispered a Tidal Lord, his tentacles curled up in submission. War Prime Grixtel had not spoken for several minutes. He sat in his chair like a broken machine, staring at the table in front of him. War Prime Lee said gently, Are you feeling all right? You seem quiet? Grixtel looked up with eyes that had seen too much. The Vorthok Empire has no further business to discuss today. Are you sure? We were hoping to talk about establishing a human embassy on your homeworld. The idea of human representatives living on the Vorthok planet, watching and learning and reporting back to those hidden fleets, made Grixtel's mandibles click in panic. Yes, he said quickly, an embassy would be, welcome. Excellent, Ambassador. Yoon will arrive next week with a full diplomatic staff. Dr. Yoon nodded pleasantly. Everyone in the room now understood that a diplomatic staff probably included intelligence agents, military advisors, and scientists who would study Vorthok weaknesses even more carefully. Kim Na-young was typing on her computers, but now the other delegates could see that she was not just taking notes. She was coordinating with human agents scattered throughout the galaxy, updating files on alien military capabilities, and maintaining contact with those hidden fleets. I think this has been a very productive meeting, Lee said, standing up. It's wonderful when different species can work together for mutual benefit. The alien delegates began to leave the chamber, but they moved differently now. They looked over their shoulders, they whispered to each other in worried voices. They kept glancing at the humans like they expected to see weapons appear. As the Vorthok delegation passed the human table, War Prime Grixtel stopped. Human Lee, he said, quietly, why did you let us live? Your ships could have destroyed our fleet, your weapons could have killed us all. Lee looked up at the massive alien warrior who had threatened to murder 10 million humans just hours earlier because, Warprim, we are not monsters, he said simply. We are humans. We prefer our enemies to be alive and afraid rather than dead and forgotten. Grixtel shuddered and walked away. When all the aliens had left, the human delegation sat alone in the council chamber. Well, Captain Park said, that went better than expected. Did it? Kim asked. Now they know what we really are. They know about our fleets, our weapons, our capabilities. Good, Lee replied. Fear is a better foundation for peace than ignorance. When they know what we can do, they will work harder to avoid making us do it. Admiral Beak's hologram appeared one more time. Mission accomplished, Ambassador. The galaxy now understands that humanity's politeness is a choice, not a weakness. Indeed, Li said. And I suspect our diplomatic workload just got considerably easier. Dr. Choi was packing up her computers. Think they'll test us again? Probably not, Captain Park answered, watching the last alien delegates hurry away through the chamber's windows. But if they do, at least now they know what they're getting into. Kim Na-young stood up and stretched. I almost feel sorry for them. They spent 2 years thinking they were the predators in this relationship, and now they know the truth, Li said, straightening his diplomatic jacket. Humans are not prey. We never were. We were just polite enough to let them think so. The human delegation gathered their things and prepared to leave. Tomorrow there would be more meetings, more negotiations, more diplomatic work. But it would all be different now. The galaxy had learned an important lesson today. When someone is polite enough to say please and thank you while surrounded by planet-killing weapons, it might be wise to listen to what they are asking. For after all, politeness is a choice, and everyone had just seen what humans looked like when they chose to be impolite. As they left the council chamber, Ambassador Li was smiling his diplomatic smile again. But now it meant something completely different to everyone who saw it. It was the smile of a species that had conquered their own world through superior violence, then decided to try diplomacy instead. The smile of predators who had chosen to be civilized, the smile of humans who had finally stopped pretending to be harmless.